He believed that integrity is everything. He said, stand for the truth, even though sometimes you may need to stand alone. Stand for what's right. And that's what Piggy Lambert was all about. I also want to do a shout out to an anonymous giver who just gave $250 to the California Philippines Bearcats, who doesn't want to be mentioned, but you know who you are. And I want to thank you for that. Hey guys, Coach Corsi here. Fired up today. Day 3 of the quarantine here in Manila. So I wanted to share with you another installment of John Wooden. And now we're going to go to his college years, which is great. So he was blessed to have 3 great coaches. For me, I had one in all my playing days, and that was Coach Bill Reynolds from Vanguard University. Greatest coach ever. But John Wooden had 3. And his third coach was Ward Piggy Lambert. Why he was called Piggy, that doesn't really say. But he believed in a few things. Integrity. This is really about integrity, team spirit, and Piggy Lambert. So John Wooden went to Purdue, really a Hoosier in his heart, growing up in Indiana, and also a Bruin. But in his mind, Purdue was right there with UCLA and being a Hoosier. So he went to Purdue because engineering degree, and he wanted to get into engineering. So that's why he went. He also went because Ward Piggy Lambert was a great coach. He had won 11 Big Ten championships before John Wooden even got there, and really looked at Piggy Lambert as one of his great mentors when it came to coaching. And Piggy Lambert believed in 3 things. He believed in, number 1, team spirit, number 2, conditioning, and number 3, fundamentals. And these are things that he believed in incredibly. So team spirit, first one. He believed that every player on the team was as important as any other player. Even when John Wooden was the great scorer and 3-time All-American, didn't really matter. He believed that every player could contribute to the team, was part of the team, and had something to add to the team. And so he lived this out because he cared more about the player after basketball as much as he did about the player during basketball. But at the same time, he was extremely competitive. Didn't take away from his competitiveness. He wanted to win. Number 2 was conditioning. One of the reasons that John Wooden came to Purdue is because they were playing the new brand of basketball at that time, which was running, fast break, going up and down the court quicker. And Piggy Lambert was one of the first people to really start that. And so he wanted to play for a coach that wanted to run, which UCLA did as well. So in order to run, you had to do a lot of conditioning, and Piggy Lambert conditioned them hard. It was, according to John Wooden, punishing at times how much they ran. They ran a lot. And one of the greatest compliments that John Wooden ever had was his senior year, that Piggy Lambert, Coach Piggy Lambert, said that John Wooden was the most conditioned and most in-shape athlete of anybody they'd ever coached his entire career, which was really cool for John Wooden. So they ran hard, and practices were conditioning, they were physical, they really got after it in a big way. And then the third thing he really believed in was fundamentals. And fundamentals was huge, and he incorporated fundamentals and competitive drills. Every drill was competitive and fundamentally sound, and a drill could incorporate rebounding and at the same time shooting. And he would never let his players shoot from outside. He would always start the fundamentals and the drills inside the key. He believed that everything should be physical. He would start with drills like war. 3 guys in the key trying to get the ball out of net and score, and you can't leave the key. It was punishing. And he would have everybody do that. The guards, forwards, everybody. But fundamentals to him and getting up and down the court and conditioning, everything they did. In fact, John Wooden said that Coach Piggy, Lambert, barely even talked during practice until the end. Because it was just drill after drill after drill that they did. And it was crazy. So those were his three things: team spirit, conditioning, fundamentals. During John Wooden's tenure there, they won 2 national championships and 2 Big Ten championships. And John Wooden was named All-American 3 times. He won the scoring title his senior year and was team captain his junior and senior year. So pretty incredible. But his biggest accomplishment was he was the 19th scholar at Purdue and won the Big Ten Scholarship Award, really in honor of his father that valued academics more than athletics. And so he was the most proud of that, and he really in honor of his dad that read to them every night. John Wooden was called, in college, he was called the Indian Rubber Man. And the reason he was called that is because he would get knocked to the floor constantly, but he'd always just jump right back up. He would get knocked to the floor, jump right back up. So they called him the Indian Rubber Band. And when they played at home, Coach Piggy Lambert would position football players underneath the hoop on both sides because they knew that John Wooden would be headed towards the stands to protect him. So the coach would actually get football players to stand underneath the basket of both ends to protect John Wooden from running into the stands and cracking his head open. Pretty crazy, right? So he had a great time at Purdue. He ended up changing from civil engineering to English because in order to be an engineer, you had to dedicate your summers. And he couldn't do that because he had to work all summer to pay for his room and part of his board. Even though he was a scholarship athlete, not everything was paid for back then. They didn't have the luxury that big-time college athletes have today. So he had to work all summer, and he couldn't do that and be an engineer major, so he switched to English. And he fell in love with writing and reading Hamlet and really got into it and really served him well his entire life. So anyways, great story about John Wooden at Purdue. I love the fact that every player was important as every other player. The team spirit concept, that's something that us in the Bearcats we've done from the existence, is it doesn't matter if you're the last one on the bench or you're the star player. Everyone is the same. And I'm really proud of that. And I'm really proud to see that Purdue, and I know John Wooden did this as well with all of his players. So anyways, great words of wisdom, great story about John Wooden's college days. I hope you enjoy this, and I just hope that this really can really help you in your coaching and in your business life to know how to run a team with team spirit and with really teaching people to work hard and then teaching people the fundamentals of the game, of business, of life. Really love you guys. We're continuing to raise money and getting ready to use that money to impact the children and the families of the Philippines. Love you guys. God bless, and go Bearcats! Hey guys, Coach Corsi here. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like, and thanks for being a part of this vision for the future to impact our youth and the next generation. God bless you, and go Bearcats.